call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the reading of the land acknowledgement by Heather K.
Akron Central School District acknowledges that we gather on the traditional lands of the Tohono Seneca Nation. We honor the contributions of the indigenous peoples past, present, and future with gratitude for the land as we continue to work together with a spirit of respect and understanding.
I would like to ask everyone to please stand and join me in the pledge of the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
The mission of the Akron Central School District, a learning-centered community dedicated to the dreams of our students, is to ensure that each student realizes his or her unique human potential and contributes positively to society through a system characterized by valuing the unique gifts and dreams of each person, developing all dimensions of each human being, advancing the knowledge, skills, and wisdom of each student, nurturing and respecting the dignity of each human being, and cooperatively working to continuously create new realities. Okay. We'll continue on with agenda item number 2, the administering of oath of office. So would our newly re-elected officer, Stephanie, please join me to receive the oath? Okay. Do we have to open it? Or can we do it right here?
You could do it right there. It's
Huh? You can do it there, right here, wherever you'd like. So, okay. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New York,
of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Board of Education
Board of
member,
Education,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Thank you. You're welcome. Here's that.
No, thank you.
Sign it for things. My clap.
Thank you.
And then our other board member and our student exos will be, their oaths will be given at a later date, before the 30th. So moving on to agenda item number 3, election of president. So do I have any nominations for president of the board?
Eric?
I'll nominate Eric Polkowski.
Okay. I need a second.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Eric, do you accept?
yes.
Okay. So can I have a recommendation that the Akron Central School Board elects Eric Polkowski as president for the 26-27 school year? So that, yep,
Yes.
again, okay. It's, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. So Eric. All right. Ready to do your oath, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I do solemnly
I
swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge,
the duties of the office of Board of President, Board of Education
will
President.
faithfully discharge the duties of the office of President of the Board of Education,
According to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
You are sworn in.
All righty.
All right. I would now like to turn the meeting over to President Polkowski.
All right. Nice job, Miss James. With that, moving on to agenda item 4, which is the election of the vice president. I would call for nominations for vice president of the board.
I will nominate Heather K.A.
Okay, we have a nomination for Heather Kay.
And I'll second that.
And we have a second for that. Ms. Kay, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Very well. With that, are there any other nominations? Seeing none, close the floor for nominations. And I'd like to call a vote for Vice President for Ms. Kaye. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Carried.
Okay. I just love doing this. All right, ready? I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Vice President of the Board of Education
as Vice President of the Board of Education
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Just sign. Thank you.
Alrighty then, moving on to our appointment of officers. These individuals are all representatives of the district, along with board appointments and salary schedules. So our recommended action is that it be resolved that the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve the board appointments consent items 5A to 5B.
Moved.
Move, Ms. Kay.
Second.
Second, Mr. Borkett.
Sorry. Touch the- oh my God.
And the motion passes. Moving on, agenda item 6, designations. It is the recommended action that the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve designation items, consent items 6A through 6C.
Move.
Moved, Mr. Borkett, second, Ms. Kafka.
So I was like, that second.
Oh. And the motion passes. I will make a note here just because it is in the public content area. I know there was some conversation prior because there hasn't been any turnover in regards to the board. And I believe all of the designations, within those designations for agenda item B, 6B and 6C were Erie County Association of School Boards representatives and public relations representatives. And the committees, as they initially were last year, are just being carried over with no change in that designations
Correct.
between primaries and alternates. However, I'm sure we can get a copy of what the current designations are to the Bugle for
Yes.
their record.
Most definitely.
But that is the only reason that those weren't, there were no changes in that, there was no turnover or changes in the board. Moving on then to agenda item 7, authorizations. It is the recommended action, the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve the authorization items, consent items 7A through 7K.
Moved. Second.
Move, Ms. Kay, seconded, Ms. Jagello. And that motion passes. Agenda item number 8, which is district committees on special education. It is the recommended action that the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve special education items consent item 8A through 8C.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Gigello.
Second.
Second, Mr. Borkett. That motion passes. Agenda item 9, impartial hearing officers. It is the recommended action that the Akron Central School Board of Education does hereby approve the hearing officer items consent item 9A and 9B.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Kay.
Second.
Second, Ms. Gigello. That motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 10, which is other items. A little bit of different things here. With the recommended action being that the Akron Central School Board of Education approves action consent items 10A through 10P.
Move.
Moved, Ms. Kafka.
Second.
Seconded, Ms. K.A. And that motion passes. We're on to agenda item number 11, which is the hearing of individuals and delegations. We have no pink cards or attendees, so there is nothing there. And I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent for her report. I will just say that agenda items 1 through 10 primarily, the main focus of this meeting is the school year does go from calendar year, it doesn't work calendar year to calendar year, but goes from July 1st to June 30th. So this is the first meeting of that new calendar, school calendar year. So all of these agenda items 1 through 10 have been in conjunction with essentially the board reorganizing, reappointing, and recommissioning a lot of the things that happen on a year-to-year basis. So for anybody that is looking online or reviewing the agenda, they have an understanding of what the intent and purpose of the meeting is. So with that, I will turn it over to the superintendent for her report.
Okay, well, thank you. I do have a few updates to share with the Board of Education and Community this evening. I wanted to share that summer school officially began this week, and I wanted to give an update on enrollment and attendance. So at the elementary school, we had 121 students participating in our Tiger Cub Camp. Students receive instruction in math and ELA along with character-based recreational activities that reinforce teamwork, leadership, and positive social skills. At the middle school, we have 53 students that were invited to participate, with 22 students attending on the first day. We did know that participation would be a little bit lower this week due to many families had trips planned for this week, so we do expect that number to increase. Students are receiving instruction in reading, math, science, social studies, and wellness. At the high school, we have 31 students that are currently enrolled in our credit recovery program. This year, our high school program is a hybrid mix of direct instruction from our ELA and social studies teachers, along with Apex online learning platforms with additional staff support for those students participating in the online credit recovery. Just wanted to take a moment to thank our administrators and our teachers who are here supporting our summer school programs. I received a correspondence earlier this week from Supervisor Isidore Zak, and as the board and community may recall, we worked collaboratively with the town of Newstead in hopes for a traffic study to potentially reduce the speed limit on Bloomingdale a little bit further down as we go towards the entrance of our new sports complex. So we did learn that we received a determination letter from the New York State Department of Transportation indicating that based on their review of traffic speeds, roadway conditions, crash history, and other traffic data, that they are not recommending a reduction in speed at this time. After receiving the letter, I did contact the author of the letter directly to discuss our concerns, particularly that the traffic study, the traffic pattern that was observed is not typical of what we expect to see once that new stadium is fully utilized within our community, as well as the change in traffic pattern for our middle school drop-off. I shared concerns about the topography of the road, and as individuals are coming off the reduced speed of right in front of our campus here, the natural inclination is to hit the gas a little bit to come up to speed, and as you're going over that hill, we have concerns about reduced visibility pulling in and out of what we're referring to as Tigers Trail at 13435 Bloomingdale. So after a conversation in regards to that, it was agreed that they would go back and take another look based on the concerns that were shared. So I did inquire as to what the appeal process would be. I think it's a little premature to go down that road yet, as they're still making their determinations, but hopefully there will be a reconsideration. I expressed that we are not looking for a full reduction in speed as a school zone, like to expand that far, but a reduction of speed to 30 miles per hour going in that direction. The number one reason that it was denied was they felt that the district did not own enough property directly in that area. There's a cornfield, house, and it's really an access road that is the district property leading into the sports complex, which would not make us eligible for that reduced speed. But hopefully we'll see what happens when they take another look on that. Any questions on that preliminary response? And then the only other item I wanted to share, I'm actually going to kick things over to my counterpart, Paul. He's going to share an update in regards to some correspondence we received this week from Verizon related to our cellular coverage concerns on campus.
So it's been a little while, but I've spoke a number of times about efforts to improve cell coverage in the community as well as here on campus. And several months ago, it was in the springtime, Verizon sent a team out on site. Actually, it turned out to be a fairly extensive visit for an afternoon with about 10 individuals. And they did return a plan, a preliminary proposal plan, not with a ton of detail, but with some ideas of what they would like to offer the district, potentially as an on-site enhancement to cell coverage in the area. I've gone back and forth with them a number of times, and in summary, they've stressed that this would be something potentially working in conjunction with the community-wide improvements. It's not to replace any of those. Just in brief summary, what they've proposed potentially are two different units or transmitters One would be pole mounted in the bus garage area, just inside the entrance of the fenced bus garage. The other one potentially would be mounted to a chimney or wall structure on the roof of the main building. I have a number of questions about that. First of all, are there any SED guidelines that need to be followed? Rules around such a thing. Are there other schools that have something like this? Frankly, it's been a little tough to find some of that information, but I want to, in particular, thank CPL, our architect that's working with the district on our capital project. A number of things. CPL has stepped in and have reached out to SED as well as given some of their own thoughts. I'm going to continue that conversation, awaiting some information from SED, as well as I've reached out to our insurance carrier with some of the information they gave to have their potential opinion. And if, depending on what comes back there, we'll also reach out to our legal team, and depending if the proposal seems potentially viable from there, that'd be something I'd want to share with the board, and ideally have, if the board would entertain it, have Verizon themselves hopefully share some of those details. But I want to make sure that it's as vetted as possible before we bring it to this point. So, any questions on that?
And that concludes my superintendent's report.
Okay. No other questions. Moving on then to agenda item 13, personnel. Number of substitutes and appointments in this. And the recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, does hereby approve the following personnel items, consent item 13A through 13R.
Move.
Moved, Ms. Cuffett.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jagello. And that motion passes. Agenda item 14, these are district items, including business minutes. The recommended action is that the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, does hereby approve the following district items, consent items 14A through 14H.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. Kay.
Second.
Second, Mr. Borkett. Any questions or board discussion? And that motion passes. I will just make a mention, agenda item 14C is the MOU in regards to, that's the extension and adaptation from the TRAP Club and kind of making its next steps in evolution.
That would be, I believe that's roots and shoots.
It's the agriculture.
Oh, the agriculture, sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
So we're excited next year that we are, based on student input, we are excited that we're going to be able to offer a pretty robust course, an after-school program, an extracurricular, affectionately entitled Roots and Shoots, for those students that are interested in agriculture.
Agenda item 15, the financial reports.
Just informational.
Just informational there. Continuing on, 16, special education. The recommended action being the Akron Central School Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, does hereby approve special education items, consent items 16A and 16B.
Moved.
Moved, Mr. Borkett.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jagello. And that motion passes. Moving on, agenda item 17, board discussion. Any additional information in regards to our retreat?
Yep, so as of right now, our board retreat is tentatively scheduled for August 12th. We may look at changing the date of that if possible, due to availability of a couple of members. But we're excited that it's going to be a collaborative opportunity, once again, working with John McSwan, former superintendent of the Cleveland Hill School District. He's worked with our board for the last couple of years on governance items as well as goal setting. So we're excited that we'll have the opportunity to work with him again. We're looking at bringing our admin team on for a portion of the day to talk about how goals impact at the building level, as well as some collaborative discussions on how to support the work of the buildings. We'll have some team building opportunities. We're targeting team building in Lewiston with potentially a boat tour followed by a lunch, and then some additional professional development for our board and admin team after lunch. Wanted to make sure that the board is comfortable with me sharing the self-evaluation with Mr. McSwan for his preparations for the professional development associated with the retreat. And then he will also send out a survey to the board if there are any particular items that the board would like him to focus on in that professional development as well.
Okay. Any other questions? Just to kind of piggyback off of that, just from what will be forthcoming as well as between now and the time of the beginning of the school year, and in conjunction with our retreat, please, take a look in regards to what our board goals were over this past year and the adaptation of those goals moving forward. I wouldn't say just from the standpoint of looking at the goals and seeing what we have done and what we haven't done and what we need, continue. Obviously identify what we need to continue to work on, but also at the same point too, just because it's not listed on one of those three goals, if there are items that you're aware of, either through, stakeholders, conversations, whether it be members of the community, whether it be students, whether it be admin, staff, those are the sorts of things that, as we go through our retreat and establishing next year's board goals, those are the sorts of things we want to bring to the table and have conversation and kind of set those things in motion. Obviously, from the standpoint, this will be, I think, our third year establishing board goals, and those board goals will then come down to the superintendent to review and try to create a game plan for implementation across the district. And then from there, it goes from the superintendent down to the buildings, and it all trickles down in that fashion. Again, and each layer is constantly reviewing what's going on within their own realm. But then also, from the standpoint too, is that we're always looking at, those outstanding guidelines, whether it be from policy review to strategic planning to, those sorts of things. It's basically visioning for where we see going forward. So it is critical to come up with those ideas and kind of have a direction for where we see ourselves going. So as we go through these next couple of weeks and meetings and retreats, bear that in mind, because that will become part of the conversation prior to the beginning of the school year, so that we can give marching orders to our superintendent for those implementations over the first part of the new year.
Yep, we will do a professional development associated with Portrait of a Graduate, as well as we recently administered as a school district a school climate survey, so reviewing that data will be part of the process as well.
Okay. Very well. Student ex officio board members.
Yep, just wanted to share that we're excited. We're going to have a full team again. Our ex officios are not here today. They have very busy things. They're very busy today. But we will have a full group again with 3 ex officio representatives and continuation with the model of representation of each one of the 3 buildings in our district. So excited to work with that team. We have 2 returning members with Audrey and Alex, as well as we have a new board member that we're excited to bring on, Hannah Liss, her family has quite a bit of background in education. Both of her parents are teachers. She was excited to contribute to her school community on the board. So excited for the new addition, as well as we wish Alex luck post-high school. Yep, at UB.
Very well. Is there anything else that anybody has in regards to board discussion? Okay, seeing none. School board correspondence, Friday and Saturday, June 24th to 25th is the NYSBA Leadership and Education event in Albany. Wednesday, August 5th is Western New York Law Conference at Salvatore's Italian Gardens. Please see Ms. James for registration as soon as possible. Thursday, August 20th is the ECASB Back to School Dinner Awards recognition. Please see Ms. James for registration. Wednesday, August 12th is our, tentative board retreat, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thursday, October 22nd through the 24th is the 2026 Annual Convention and Education Expo in Buffalo for NYSBA. Please see Ms. James for registration. Upcoming dates, Wednesday the 5th is our next regular business meeting here in the high school cafeteria beginning at 6:30 p.m. Without any other items on the agenda, we do have a need to go into executive session. So the recommended action is the Akron Central School Board of Education go into executive session for discussion on pending litigation, negotiations, and employment history of a particular person.
Moved.
Moved, Ms. K.A.
Second.
Second, Mr. Borkett. And the motion passes, so we are in executive session as of 7:35. We do not intend on conducting any business coming out of executive session. So we thank everybody that was in attendance online and the Bugles for their for representation. As always, we will get you a list of the different committees and the individuals that are staffing those for your record. But you got an easy one today. So, thank you.